Burton just told Paul Menard 2 laps ago on the radio, don't give up. We've still got a good chance. Keep on digging, Paul. We're not done. And they are trying to fight off Dave Blaney and Regan Smith at the front.
Larry, the 36 car leading the race, Dave Blaney, Tommy Baldwin's car. People always criticize some of these start and park guys. That's the result of starting and parking, getting your feet on the ground, getting a sponsor like Golden Corral, and now showing what you can do.
Prime example of never give up.
Never give up.
Not in a race or not during the season.
Amazing.
Blaney likes Talladega, finished 3rd here in the October race in 2007. The Childress teammates trying to battle, and here come the Ganassi cars. Montoya 42 and McMurray in the 1. A lot of the usual suspects are hanging out further back.
Yeah, but they're closing in.
There's a look at your Pizza Hut fan favorite, Jeff Gordon, in the 24, along with Mark Martin in the 5. They've been welded together since the initial drop of the green flag today. Back there at 15th and 16th. Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr. still working together. Carl Edwards with his Roush Fenway Ford teammate, Greg Biffle. 31 laps to go.
Yeah, there's a couple of pods here and there. They're spread out, but they're starting to close the gap. I've been watching lap times. The 24 and the 5 closing the gap.
The Childress cars have shown no reluctance to run at the front. Boyer has led a lot today. So has Harvick. So has Burton. They've each led half a dozen laps or more. And so has Paul Menard. Pretty big weekend for Richard Childress.
Yes, it is. But when I look at those front two, Clint Boyer in the 33, Kevin Harvick in the 29, they swept the races here last year, and actually a photo finish between Boyer and Harvick in the fall race with Boyer taking the win.
Just got to tell you, the 24 and the 5, the 48 and the 88, they're not done, boys.
No, they're lurking. Johnson Earnhardt 17th and 18th, just behind Gordon and Mark Martin.
We know they're fast. They were the top 4 qualifiers in qualifying yesterday.
If you've made your last pit stop, how long do you dare wait before you have to come up and challenge this lead back?
Well, you can't wait too long because of the speed disparity between the 2 cars pushing and setting somebody up. So that's the hard part, and that's what these guys, I think, have been trying to figure out themselves. But I think you got to get up there in the mix now. It's getting down to crunch time.
Last lap by, Gordon and Martin 0.6 of a second faster than the race leaders.
No, they've decided to hold it wide open for a while. They've been riding around back here. They haven't been doing that, but I really have been watching them, and they got fast race cars.
Right up the middle, the Michael Waltrip Toyotas. Martin Truex in the Napa car. David Rudiman on his bumper, trying to challenge for the lead once again.
And boy, you just think about Martin Truex, 2 weeks that he's had. Big crash Martinsville, big crash Texas. Man, if he could come out of here with a good finish, get the monkey off his back.
It's been a long time since he went to victory lane, Dover, back in 2007.
.28 laps to go. 10 cars still tightly packed at the front of the field. How will this shake out?
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Viagra, by Subway Restaurants, the official training restaurant of Carl Edwards. Subway, eat fresh. And by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
25 laps to go in Talladega, and just as 10 cars were catching the lead 8, and it got really interesting, debris in the backstretch puts us under caution for the 5th time today.
Don't know how it's going to play out, but that 5 and the 24, they were coming to the front in a hurry. I think they had it timed out pretty good had we not had this caution.
Jeff Gordon is NASCAR's all-time restrictor plate race winner with 12. None since 2007. Clint Boyer won here last fall. So Larry, 25 to go. Let's Go downstairs and find out who is going to pit and who is not. Matt?
Mark Martin is planning on pitting for fuel, but the 33 and 29, Harvick and Bowyer, they're going back and forth on their radio, jointly talking about whether to stay out and try to conserve fuel or come in to top off. Still haven't decided yet, Dick.
And Jeff Burton has decided that he is going to stay out. Blaney and group haven't decided what they're going to do yet. This is a roll the dice pit stop for sure. Steve.
And here in the one pit, just talking to their team, they think at this point they're going to stay out. The 20 looks like they will, but the one stays out, Krista.
Carl Edwards talking about tires. They have one set of sticker tires left behind the wall. They are planning on pitting to come in for those 4 tires and the fuel.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about tires, but when I think about a lot of the drivers, with the exception of the Hendrick drivers and Martin Truex Jr., when they topped off with 1 to go, I think they're in good shape. But some of these guys are thinking about lap 188. I think you have to think about 3 green, white checkers. Darrell, the other thing, a little technical here, I want more fuel in the back of that car. It pulls the back of the car down with the weight. She'll run faster, but they have to do it together.
Yeah, I always had to. My theory always was, when in doubt, stay out. That's been my theory, and particularly when tires are not an issue.
Well, we would hope that the cars who stay out because of these caution laps, and you burn about half as much fuel on a caution lap as you do a green lap under normal conditions, they would have enough fuel to last the distance. But the smartest minds of the sport are the ones on pit road, cranking the calculators and making the calls. Who will come and who will stay out? Pit road is open.
Looks like about the top 10 stayed out, but here they come. Kurt Busch in the 22, and about everyone follows suit.
Kurt Busch and Joey Logano lead them down into their stalls at the south end of pit road, along with Tony Stewart, A.J. Allmendinger, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin. Matt?
Newman is already topped out for fuel. Meanwhile, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, they're going to go 4 tires on this machine. The 5 of Mark Martin, he's already away. He took fuel as well.
Well, Mark got fuel, and he's coming out as Jeff Gordon is still getting tires. And Mark may wait for him. They may yet be together once we get ready for the restart. Lots of different strategies. 23 laps left to see how they play out. 21.5 laps to go, ready to restart after the 5th caution flag. There are Childress cars, 4 of them at the front, but not lined up with the partners they were drafting with earlier. How's this going to sort out?
Well, I think the front is set 2 by 2 by 2 here. We got some teammates and guys that have been working together pretty much the whole race. Then you fall back into the pack there a little bit, and you'll see the 5 and the 24, the 99 and the 16. There's some guys back there going to have to make some pretty quick moves here. Ryan Newman's back there and Tony Stewart. So we'll see how the guys in the back of the pack work their way to the front here, how long it takes them.
Blaney in 3rd, Regan Smith in 6th. They have no teammates at the front. Can they find each other? Will they find another partner? We're about to find out. 21 to go, green flag.
Saw Regan Smith in 78, Mike, right past the start-finish line, jumped down in behind Dave Blaney in that 36.
Which is fine unless Blaney goes up and picks up the 29 of Harvick.
Well, we know they've run together earlier in the race.
Harvick's having a hard time getting up to speed, though. Man, his car is really slow to come alive. Starting to pick up a little speed, but everybody's going by him down the back. That is not what he needed to see.
Matt?
Miscommunication, Mike. The game plan was for Bowyer to take the outside, then drift in front of Harvick. When they were trying to get back to Bowyer to finalize the plan, he had already finalized the plan with the 31 of Burton. So that meant Harvick at the last minute had to try to pick up the 36. Confusion.
Well, here's what Clint Bowyer said before the restart.
Obviously what we need to do here is take the top, get on Kev's channel, just have him clear you down, but wait on that line.
I mean, do that or just stay there and work with Burton, whatever you guys want me to do.
Well, he ended up coming across and picking up one teammate, leaving the other to fend for himself, and now everybody's paired up once again, often with new partners.
There's one thing that changes all that strategy is the green flag. When it comes out, it changes everything. he said Burton, he mentioned it, that maybe I need to work with him. I think that's what took place.
Regan Smith and Paul Menard in the 27. Two of the drivers we tabbed at the top of the show to perhaps become first-time Sprint Cup winners here this afternoon, and they lead Montoya, who's never won a Cup race on an oval track. McMurray, Boyer, and Burton, the 6-car breakaway.
Now, what's interesting with Montoya in the 42 being pushed by McMurray in the 1, I know before that caution, Chris Devoto was telling me that Montoya was up to 270 degrees on water temperature.
That caution will get everything down. That'll get all the temps down, and you ought to be able to sit there and push pretty hard for several laps.
6 cars alone out front. 2 losing a bit of ground there, and that will help Martin Truex and Rudiman to gain some ground, as indeed they're side by side with the 5th and 6th place cars and looking for the front.
Yeah, the 42 and the 1 almost look like they stopped over there.
Darryl, you talked at the top of the show, don't give up. I look at Denny Hamlin, that 11 car right there, all types of damage. Don't know how many pit stops he made, and there he's up there pushing Ryan Newman in the 39.
Well, he's another guy that needs a great finish today. A win would certainly do a lot for that team. They have been hurting.
And the big losers temporarily on this restart were Dave Blaney and Kevin Harvick. Where did he go?
Yeah, well,
back to 14th.
Yeah, he got shuffled back on that restart.
Toyota's to the front now. Truex.
Whoa, no.
Newman saves it.
They all saved it. McMurray's still on the apron.
Unbelievable.
I think Juan's got the most damage out of that.
No caution.
And Montoya.
Definitely a lot of damage on the right front of the 42 car.
How did Ryan Newman hold on to that race car?
And now McMurray has lost his wingman that he has been with since the drop of the green flag.
And what has happened to Jeff Burton and Regan Smith? They have dropped way back.
I think that was just a matter of everybody kind of getting checked up in that mess. Look at these two here, though.
Watch the silver and black, 39 of Newman. I don't believe he saves that race car thanks to Montoya.
You know why? You know why Ryan Newman can do that? Dirt track racing, man. They get him that crossed up on dirt and save him all the time. Then 42 pounded into him and got him back up in the racetrack. But that is an amazing job of driving. That right there, most guys throw up their head and say, I'm done.
But watch Regan Smith in that black 78 turn straight up the hill. That's why he lost some time, but he's glad he didn't lose a race car.
That could have been the big one, but for Ryan Newman and Montoya.
That's why these guys, they are the greatest in the world at what they do.
And what they did allowed Truex and Rudiman to scoot out front. Look at the damage on Newman's car. No matter. He's still getting a push from Denny Hamlin.
It just seems to me the more you get your car beaten up down here, the better it runs.
Back to 9th and 10th.
These two guys, 56 and 00, the Michael Waltrip cars, they got out there. They hit a huge lead. But I'm telling you right now, those guys back there running 5th and 6th, they've been sitting on something all day long.
Yep, company's coming. Our front row starters, Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin, the 24 and the 5, will have something to say about this before it ends.
Just before that caution came out, these were the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack. Hadn't shown it all day long, but they're showing it now. They got speed, baby.
Around goes a car in the back straightaway, and it's Newman.
Can he save it again?
Yeah,
he did.
And we have no caution.
Oh, yeah, he's got to stop.
Now we'll have one.
Well, he's probably got 4 tires, and you can't drive that thing around that far on 4 flat tires.
Yeah, he's
but
all
keeping that car off the wall. Another.
Caution out, caution. Left side damage, guys.
Just amazing example of car control by Ryan Newman. How's this start? He's got help from Hamlin. Top of your screen.
Just got into him just a little bit wrong right there, and it doesn't take a whole lot of just. I know you can shove and push, but you get the wrong angle. I'm not. Maybe let's rethink that. That looked, I'd like to see that again. Maybe had a tire go down.
But that's definitely the same two that was pushing and shoving a couple of laps before when they got into Montoya.
190 miles an hour, headed for the inside wall. Ryan Newman locks the brake, unlocks it, gasses it, keeps it off the wall.
Not sure about that left rear. You know, that all that damage down the left side, it could have knocked the valve stem off or cut a tire down a little bit.
Could have got a flat when he hit Montoya.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying when he got together.
Speaking of flats, that's Montoya's car. A lot of right front damage.
But here's a driver that hung out at the back with his teammate almost the entire race, and now with less than 15 to go on pit road tore up.
Newman has a couple of flats, but some of those are a result of that long slide from Jimmie Johnson.
Really hard to say, man. I mean, they're on the straightaway right there, and I've had these guys tell me these cars are hard to drive on the straightaway with somebody pushing you.
But Darrell, flat tire or not, how does he keep this car out of the wall again?
I don't know. Juan had a right front tire. I really believe that in Newman's case, just like we saw Juan's right front blow right there, I got to believe that Newman had a soft left rear or a left front one from the contact with Juan.
A lot of damage to Montoya's car. They put tires on it to try to keep him from losing another lap.
I don't think a fresh tire is going to fix that. There's something bad broke.
And I tell you something else, that 11 car has got a lot of bear bond on the front of it. And it could have caused it to hook the back of the 39 car.
Yeah, that bear bond's pretty sticky on both sides. 13 laps to go. A lot can still happen, and likely will. Don't leave. Believe it or not, after two wild incidents, Ryan Newman is still on the lead lap and still with a car that he can race. Here's the most recent one.
I really, as I looked at this on a second time, the 11 car has a lot of that tape on the nose. Also, the 39 has tape on the rear of his car that just didn't slide. I think he just whooped him around.
Well, we weren't the only ones impressed. Here's what Clint Bowyer had to say.
Well, I don't know how he saved the first one. That Burton that about wrecked or who? It was Newman.
Well, he's still on the lead lap. Michael Waltrip got the free pass. 27 lead lap cars. It'll be 11 laps to go when they come to the stripe.
And as they say, folks, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Dave Blaney is the race leader, an Earnhardt Childress engine powering his Tommy Baldwin Chevrolet. Kurt Busch in the Penske Dodge, number 22. Martin Truex, Jeff Gordon, David Rudiman, Mark Martin, Harvick, Bowyer, Menard, and Logano, the top 10.
A lot of these teammates are already hooked up together the way they're going to restart this race with 11 to go.
Kurt Busch needs some help. Blaney crosses down in front of the 22 and they hook up. But here comes the pole sitter, Jeff Gordon, with outside front row starter Mark Martin, or rather third place starter Mark Martin. Here they go to the lead.
And here come their other teammates back there, Jimmie Johnson in that 48 and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 as well.
Steve.
Under caution, Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin talking back and forth. Their strategy very clear. Mark is going to push Jeff. Jeff said, we need to protect the bottom.
Well, they left it open long enough for Kevin Harvick and Clint Bowyer to shoot through, and they have run a lot of laps at the front of this field together today.
Well, that's the race. And to me, the 29-33, the 24 and the 5, that's going to be the race. And then you got the 48 and the 88 up here. I'm not sure about them.
10 laps to go. Remember, Harvick and Bowyer got separated on the last restart, and here was the comment.
Kevin, you got me? Yeah. I'm very happy with you, but let's go.
That's because Harvick left him for Burton the last time around.
Yeah, I thought you were going to dance with me, bud.
8 cars fighting, and now all 4 Hendrick cars are running 3, 4, 5, 6 in formation. behind the 2 Childress cars, in front of the 2 Michael Waltrip cars.
Yeah, these 6 cars right here, the 4 Hendrick cars, the 2 Childress cars, they got the best cars. They got the speed.
9 to go this time. Jimmy Johnson up there in the 48. Dick Berggren talked to him in the pre-race. Restrictor plate racing has not been good to him these last couple of 3 years.
I kind of think it's interesting, though, the strategy of Kevin Harvick going to the top.
Rio, a movie that'll bring the world to its feet, now playing. And it's playing out here at Talladega. 8.5 laps to go. And there are still 16 cars within sight of the lead, and that pack keeps getting bigger.
And 16 drivers that think they can still win this thing.
To the front, once again, Dave Blaney. What a shot in the arm for Tommy Baldwin Racing this could be if he and Kurt Busch could prevail.
Boy, did you see how Harvick's car was dancing around with Bowyer right there pushing him. Oh, boy.
10 drivers have won their first Sprint Cup race right here. Blaney is the leading contender to make that 11.
Just not sure about that strategy of running the high line to 29 to 33. Man, seeing a lot of room down below for people to go sailing by.
Blaney leads. Car owner Tommy Baldwin is up on the roof spotting for his driver. You see him, he's in a light blue shirt up there on the radio. Third man from the right. There he is, just poking in with a dark black cap and sunglasses.
He's got to be so proud, Larry. No matter what happens, he's got to be a proud man of what he's accomplished here today.
7 laps to go.
And we've got 20 drivers within 2 seconds of each other right now.
Kurt Busch pushed his then teammate Ryan Newman to a Daytona 500 victory.
You know what, Larry? I think the 88 and the 48, they may need to swap. I think the 88 in front is faster than the 48 in front of him.
Are we getting too late to swap, though? You lose a lot of time when you swap.
Well, yeah, we're running out of time, but they don't seem to have quite have enough speed.
You can stay up there for a while, but when you have to make the exchange, that will cost you. Matt.
Mike, that was the problem with Bowyer and Harvick. Bowyer felt like that their tandem was much better with Harvick pushing, so they made the exchange last time through the tri-oval.
24 cars all together again, running almost as close as the pace lap, except they're at over 180 miles an hour, and there are just 6 laps to go.
Coming back to 5 to go, you don't even look at that water temperature gauge.
No.
Swapping now will put you straight to the rear.
I wouldn't be changing radio channels or anything else, and here come those Roush cars.
And Gordon and Mark Martin back up through the middle, back out of the top 10. It's Carl and Greg Biffle, the 99 and 16 coming up the inside.
Right now they're going to have to shake that 36 out of the lead, though, because he is holding court right there.
And he is holding close to that double yellow line. 5 to go this time for Dave Blaney.
3 wide behind them. Everybody jockeying for position and looking for a place from which they can run to the front in the final lap.
We just got to not make any mistakes here, because this is the race. This is the field.
And Daryl Kurt Busch in the 22, he got off of Dave Blaney in the 36. They're going to go from 1st or 2nd to about 18th or 19th.
Harvick and Bowyer trying on the bottom.
Listen, they did the right thing. They realized they weren't fast enough with Kevin in the front. They made the swap, and now they're fighting back.
4 laps to go. Carl Edwards came in as the point leader. He leads this race by a car length. Krista.
And this was the plan all along, Mike, for Carl and Greg. With 20 to go, Greg told Carl, I know you're going to want to go hard, but we've got to wait till there's 4 or 5 laps to go. That's when we'll go, and we can win this race.
They're going as hard as they can, but Bowyer is pulling a train up the outside.
What a great move, Larry. What a great call on Bowyer's part. Let me lead. I'm faster. You push.
And they did it early enough. They're able to recover from it.
And they're fighting back. Oh, a car around. And
around goes Blaney.
He saved it. He saved it.
No yellow.
Hey, another great dirt track racer and a great dirt track save.
But what a heartbreak. As Blaney will not win today, they come to the line. 3 laps to go. Bowyer in front of Harvick. Edwards third, Biffle fourth, Jimmy Johnson, Earnhardt, Gordon, Martin, Truex, and Reutemann, the top 10.
Kurt Busch.
That is the 3rd car to spin off the front bumper of Kurt Busch today.
He's got something sticky on front of his car, too.
Guys, we'll be coming to 2 laps to go. We're not done yet. 85 lead changes.
Paul Menard trying to win his first Sprint Cup race.
Uh-oh. You know what those two up on the top are saying, don't you? Where'd they come from?
Carl Edwards in that 99, Greg Biffle in the 16. 2 to go this time.
And they timed that out pretty darn good, because time that Bowyer and Harvick get back to them, it's going to be tight.
2 laps to go. Remember, 7 of the last 11 Talladega races decided by a last lap pass. Bowyer and Harvick coming again on the high side.
Yeah, Bowyer got real tight on the side of the 16 car, but it's paying off. Drag race down the back right there.
But they can't clear the Fords and protect the bottom because Edwards comes storming back on the inside.
Well, what else it does is opens the door for these 2 cats right here who have timed it out pretty darn good, coming to the white flag.
And there comes their teammates as well, Johnson and Earnhardt Jr. White flag this time.
Those have been the 2 best cars right there most of this race. They're just now showing it.
The bell lap, and the man who started up front leads it, Jeff Gordon.
But here comes the next 2 pair. These 2 cats right here, they may have timed it out too. Let's see what happens down the back.
Now they will get a draft off Mark Martin. And here's the slingshot to the outside.
Stay together. That's what they're saying. Stay together. Push, push, push. It's going to get tight down here in turn 3.
Don't forget Jimmy Johnson and Dale Jr., 5th and 6th. They are there. Which group will they go with? And will it help the Childress cars, or will it help Jeff Gordon to victory lane?
All bets are off. They get to the middle of the tri-oval.
Watch out, down low.
Way down comes Johnson.
Good run.
He's got room. They're 3 wide. 3 by 3 to the line.
Johnson.
Maybe Jimmy Johnson.
I believe he got him by an inch.
2/1000ths of a second he beat Bowyer.
Okay, a 1/16 of an inch.
Have you ever?
Oh, man. Oh, man.
No, we have
I have never seen anything like that. Woo-hoo. What a finish.
That's how you do teammates, man. Go up and congratulate them. Both y'all won that race. Both y'all.
An unbelievable finish where Jimmy Johnson had just enough room between the 2 cars on the inside and the double yellow line, because crossing that would have cost him the race. He had the room. He made it work.
It's amazing how things will work out sometime for you, and sometimes that time it worked to perfection. Watch this.
Jeff Gordon watching Bowyer, seeing if he can beat Bowyer. Left just enough room on the inside for Johnson and Earnhardt. Right there in the tri-oval, it's Bowyer's race.
Yeah, it looks like Bowyer's pulling ahead, but then all of a sudden they hit that wall of air. There comes that 48.
But Darrell, the start-finish line here is 1,000 feet further. And look how close it is, 4 wide at the wire.
That is just a beautiful thing right there. 2, 4, 6, 8 cars.
So close, we can hardly capture it with our stop-motion camera. There's a look at it, and there is the margin. Darrell, this so reminds me of 1981, when you're looking over at Terry Labonte to make sure you beat him. Today, Jimmy Johnson was the Ron Bouchard of 1981 who swept to the inside and won it.
Mark Martin saw the 48 coming, but he couldn't do anything about it.
Jimmie Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. never left each other all day. And look at the Exmo, the Fox Exmo look of the finish as Jimmy looks for the checkered flag at the start-finish line. Any of those 8 cars could have won it. Jimmie Johnson did. Welcome back to Talladega. Jimmie Johnson celebrates. Entering turn 3, he was 5th. At the finish line, he was first. He and Dale Earnhardt Jr. celebrate Johnson's win. Here they are coming down the back straightaway, 5th and 6th.
I think what really helped them was when the 24 and the 5 got side by side, and the 33 and the 29. They gave the 48 and the 88, Jimmie Johnson and Dale Jr. That gave him a real suck right up to the back of this foursome right here. Now, when these 4 cars are running side by side, you've got to find a place to go. Thought about the outside, but knew he couldn't do it. Right here, Mark Martin could have maybe saved the win for Jeff Gordon, but he didn't get down in front of Johnson quick enough. Johnson got to suck off of all those cars, beat everybody to the line first.
And look at Carl Edwards. He was 3 car lengths back exiting turn 4, and he almost gets to Johnson at the finish line. Jimmy picked up the flag from the starter and brought it to his teammate and wingman, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That's sweet right there, boys.
This ties the Ricky Craven Kurt Busch finish at Darlington for the closest margin of victory since the advent of electronic scoring in the Sprint Cup Series.
We were there.
At Darlington, 2003. Rick Hendrick congratulates his driver. Here's Dick Berger in victory lane.
And Jimmie Johnson has just now pulled into victory lane. As it gets just a little wet down here, Jimmy, walk us through that last lap and tell us how you drove the car to win the race. That was Jimmy cleaning our lens.
Man, I thought we were in trouble. Something happened with like 2 to go, and we got disconnected and had a really tough time here in Junior on the radio. So I didn't know what he was saying or what he needed, but we were disconnected, and I got us back together, and I think he was overheating. But we got hooked up and rolling, and then all of a sudden it was just 2 groups in front of us. Had a big run down the back. I thought at the bottom. They protected it, and then I just rode through 3 and 4, and I'm like, we'll get another chance, I hope. And they were worried about each other in the 2nd and 3rd lane. I left that bottom open, and we had some big mo on our side, and off we went. So it's great to have a planned workout. I mean, we agreed to work together. Really, we wanted to in Daytona. It just didn't work out. But this 48-88 shop is awesome, and I can't thank these guys enough. Can't thank Junior enough. He made the decision that my car was faster leading, and the way these things have been finishing up, that lead car is going to have the win. So in some respects, he was more worried about the team having a good performance than anything, and very responsible for this win today. So big thanks to Lowe's, the fans, my fans, all these fans out here watching this race. And looks like we're going to have a little fun tonight. These guys are getting rowdy.
Looks like the guy who gets the checkered flag doesn't get to keep it. You gave it away.
Well, I got it, and I gave it to him. He goes, I don't want it. I said, well, I got to give you something. Here, thanks. So he's got the checkered flag over there, and can't wait to tilt the cold one back with him and thank him for good job done today.
All right, congratulations, Jimmie Johnson. Job well done. Chris?
All right, thanks, Dick. The Dominator is back. Actually, he never went that far away, but 15 races without a win for Jimmie Johnson. 5-time working on a 6th Sprint Cup championship. Pretty impressive with Jeff Hammond. Chris Myers here from the Hollywood Hotel. He led 14 laps, and kind of a classy move there, and officially 2 1,000ths of a second, so it was that close. As you saw, you pointed out to me that Mark Martin, though, had a chance with Jeff Gordon maybe to get him across the finish line ahead of Jimmy.
Well, I just saw the separation right there as the cars went underneath the start-finish line. It looked like Mark had gotten disconnected from the 24 car. I know that really hurts these guys as far as keeping that momentum going, but Mark did a great job getting Jeff to the front and almost getting him to victory lane. So right there at the end, I mean, everybody's kind of racing for themselves, but Man, I'll tell you what, I've been here a lot of times, but I've never seen a win that close with that many cars at the start-finish line. Unbelievable.
And Steve Burns is with the guy who helped push, got Jimmy across that finish line. Steve?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. talking to his crew chief, Steve Letarte. Another good finish for this race team. Dale, this is a track and a race that ultimately requires teamwork more so than any other. Talk about all you could do at the end.
Well, I was more comfortable pushing Jimmy, and I think we're the faster combination that way than me leading. And for some reason, when I was leading, I would drive off his nose, and even running quarter throttle, I'd just get away from him, and we couldn't stay together. So we just kind of hung in there, and we got clear of the pack coming to the white, and I told Jimmy this to not lift no matter what, and he was telling me, all right, man, we're going to, it looks like the middle, no, not the middle, we're going to the bottom. And I just tried to stay in the back of him without wrecking him. We come through the travel, and I lost the nose. When we got on the inside of Mark and behind the 48, I lost the nose and doored Mark and about wrecked myself. But somehow or another, I was able to give Jimmy enough of a shove to get through there. And, you know, if I couldn't win the race, I was wanting Jimmy to win the race because I'd worked with him all day long, and he's my teammate. And I'm proud to be driving for Hendrick Motorsports, and it was a great finish, a great weekend for us to be able to qualify like we did, to be able to race like we did. We got awesome engines. They build great cars, and we all finished very well today, and that's a tribute to the craftsmanship we have back in Charlotte. I want to thank my sponsors, National Guard and Amp Energy. Thank you, Dale. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. The last two spring Talladega races, Jimmy Johnson didn't even finish the race. He only led 14 laps here, and on that last caution, he was 13th, but shot up to the front, and with what became the 88th lead change, that ties the record for lead changes set in this race last year. Jimmy Johnson, your winner.
I mean, the thing right now, these guys had a plan at Hendrick today to protect themselves, be around at the end, and in the end, they were there when it mattered the most to be able to help one another and put on one exciting finish.
Kurt Busch wound up 18th. Seemed like every time there was a wreck, he was somehow in or around the activity. And Jamie McMurray, who had a plan to lay back with Juan Pablo Montoya and make a move, got caught up in some traffic, some mishaps there. Dave Blaney, the Blaneyacks, disappointed in Ohio, rooting for what would have been his first win in 370 career starts.
No, it was an incredible run right there for Tommy Baldwin and Dave Blaney in that number 36 car. They came up a little bit short, but it was a wild day for a lot of different people. And
this is how it finished. Another fantastic finish. But Jimmy Johnson, his 54th career win, tying him for 9th all-time with Lee Petty. More NASCAR on Fox Live from Talladega. We'll hear from some other drivers here in just a moment.
I thought we had it. Damn it! .002 he beat you by. Well, that was wild.
Clint Bowyer, who finished second, 2/100,000ths of a second behind the winner. He led the most laps, 38. He led 15 different times, but Jimmy Johnson celebrating with family in victory lane. And let's check in with Bowyer. And our Matt Yoakum is standing by.
Last fall, he went to victory lane, almost scored another Talladega win. You had the game plan working. Is there anything you could have done different?
We did everything we could do. The BB&T Chevrolet, she did everything she could do. It just circumstances, man. I saw them coming in the mirror, you know, even through Kevin, and I was like, 24, better block him, guys, and they were too worried about racing us, you know, as we were them. Just all hell broke loose is exactly what just happened, but that's what makes this place awesome. You know, it is a good finish for us. Very frustrated that we didn't get to win, but man, I tell you, I hope the fans enjoyed that finish. That's what Talladega is all about, and that's why these people come out by the hundreds of thousands for this place. Just want to thank Cheerios, Hamburger Helper, American Ethanol. Didn't thank him last week. Everybody on board the 33 car, we appreciate it. Thanks.
So much information to digest and trying to work out a plan. At one point, you and Harvick were trying to work out a plan for the restart, and then you'd worked out a plan with Burton behind you. Some confusion.
Yeah, well, I hated, you know, Kevin wanted me to work with them, and Billy did, and I'd worked with 31 all day long with Jeff, and I just didn't feel like it was right to leave him hanging right there. So I did, and then the caution that didn't happen, Ryan Newman spun and didn't wreck, and we stayed green, and me and Burton got separated, and thank God Kevin, you know, stayed in the gas, and we got bunched back up. But it was fun, just come up a little short.
Fun meter high, he's second. Talladega.
Clint Bowyer 10th in points after 8 races of 36 that matter. Jimmy Johnson moves up to 2, his best position so far this season. Carl Edwards maintains the top spot. Junior up to 3.
I tell you, that's what's impressive right now. Dale Earnhardt Jr., all of a sudden, he is a factor now in the race for this chase, along with Carl Edwards and guys like Jimmie Johnson. This could be a classic battle all the way down to the end.
And remember, the top 10 in, and then if you win a race, that moves you past just where the points are. Jeff Gordon has that going for him. Kyle Busch lost 4 spots. Matt Kenseth lost 5 for some of the guys who got involved in mishaps early.